When it comes to collecting Transformers, I love the weird and I love the quirky. My very first toy really getting into Transformers was this War for Cybertron Deluxe Soundwave. And this is a pretty weird, quirky toy. The whole War for Cybertron toy line was just weird and quirky in a lot of different ways. And the figures recently have been consistently good. They have like this consistent feel about them, this consistent articulation. They're just consistently very good. So it's almost nostalgic in an odd way, getting a new War for Cybertron figure that's really weird and really quirky. Like this figure is not consistently good in the same ways that we expect with modern Transformers. This Studio Series Gamer Edition Barricade is not, very great in the sense of a lot of other figures where it's like articulation's really good, the kibble's really nicely managed, blah blah blah. I mean, look at this guy. Let's just look at this guy real quick. So he's got these big old panels that don't even really tab in. They just kind of shift around on the back of his legs. He's got these big old things that just hang on his thighs. He's got this massive, mahoosive backpack. He's got these weird arms that don't even bend 90 degrees. He's a weird one, man. But having War for Cybertron Barricade in my life after all of these years, playing the game and being like, why do we have all the characters but Barricade? Where's Barricade? Finally having a figure of Barricade. Not only that, but he goes with the old figures pretty well. Now, granted, I'm sure we're going to get a new Soundwave. We already are getting a new Megatron, blah, blah, blah. Kind of hope we get a new Bruticus. That'd be really cool. But, he still goes with the old ones. I'm still going to put him on the same shelf as all my old ones. I feel like he fits in. I really do. Like, just look at that. I think he fits in. But he's very weird, very quirky. And do I love it for that? I'm not decided. It's fun. The transformation's really fun. It's a fun figure to transform and do the Transformer thing. But being an action figure, this is not the Transformer you go to be a good action figure. There's so many awesome Transformers out there for a good action figure. You want a Transformer that's an amazing figure? Tarn. Get Tarn. Get the new Bludgeon repaint. I almost called him Banzai-tron. I'd buy Banzai-tron too. Just get one of those. With this guy, he's very quirky. He's very weird. I do want to put him next to Voyager Prime. So you can kind of see, Voyager Prime, he's big, he's chunky. He's definitely a Voyager compared to this. And I'm actually surprised at the size of this Barricade. You saw him next to that Soundwave. He's the size of an older Deluxe. I have a newer Deluxe right here. Here it is with the buzzworthy Bumblebee Cybertronian Origin Jazz, which is an amazing figure, by the way. Again, if you want a consistently good figure, look at this. Universal joint for the shoulder, swivel at the bicep, hinge at the elbow, waist swivel, universal at the hip, swivel at the thigh. Like, this is a consistently good figure. Ankle rocker. Like, this Jazz is actually one of my favorite Jazz figures of all time. I love it. I mean, look at this pose. Look at that pose. That took no effort. Amazing figure. But this guy's just so weird, man. It's so weird. So let's just get into it. So first of all, he looks great. I see this and I'm like, yeah, that's War for Cybertron Barricade. The color's not 100% accurate to his in-game appearance. If I'm not mistaken, this is kind of based off of like promo material, maybe conceptual colors, or he's got more black on him. And me personally, I don't mind it because when I think of Barricade, especially nowadays, I think black cop car. And the fact that they kind of made Barricade look a little bit more like the movie and made him black and everything. I think it's really cool that they brought Barricade into War for Cybertron. And I think this is a really cool design for him. Is it very well executed and translated into this figure? Decently so. So the head looks great in my opinion. I love the big yellow visor. That looks really cool. The torso, I love the little bit of like purple energy. The Decepticon logo looks really nice in there. I love how it looks kind of spiky. His torso looks like an evil face. His torso literally kind of looks like movie Barricade, and I kind of am here for that. The back, The backpack's decently accurate. That's his gun right there. Let's pop that off to give you a better idea. You can see they kind of added, you know, some of his detail, which I think looks really cool. And it ends up on the back of the car, too, which I really appreciate. And he kind of has, you know, the little shoulder things sticking out. You know, he has the silhouette. He has the feel. This is not a part of the feel whatsoever, these thigh things. This is how it's supposed to go. He's supposed to have it up to the thigh, but awesomely, because it's Transformers, you know, pieces transform and move, you can actually reposition these if you want, kind of back into the vehicle mode position. And in my opinion, if you are okay with him having some more bulk down by, you know, the bottom of his legs, like a lot of Transformers do, because it's a Transformer, this is a pretty good alternative look. You can even have him like this, too, if you want to have that armor showing instead of the wheels. I kind of prefer that. I kind of do. Now, granted, this shouldn't be here at all. This should not. I kind of wish they would have figured out a way for this to flip in, but the transformation just didn't allow for it, I guess. And speaking of that transformation, a reason I kind of wanted to talk about this figure. Number one, it's new. You know, I've had it for, like, probably a few weeks. But, you know, it's new. But also, I did a YouTube short on RID 2015 Bumblebee. And someone mentioned how similar it is to this Barricade. And I was like, yeah, kind of is, isn't it? And then someone else was like, I want to see you talk about Barricade. So I'm talking about Barricade. I don't have Bumblebee yet. I'm kind of... I should just get it and do an old versus new. But a part of me wants to get Cliff Jumper first. I don't know why. But we'll see. I'll probably just buy that Bumblebee. Who am I kidding? But yeah, you know, this is a weird guy. He's a weird guy. Let's cut to the chase. Let's look at his articulation. So his head is on a ball joint, and it looks like a hinge as well. But you're not going to get a ton of range. It moves up a little bit. You can look down a decent amount, though. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that actually looks really cool. He does have rotation, obviously. His shoulders. So they're on a hinge, and then they're on a ball joint. So very kind of classic style of, you know, Transformer shoulder in a lot of ways. He does have a bicep swivel, which I do appreciate, but his elbows, man, I feel like they could have, this whole department right here, I feel like they could have figured this out better. Because, you know, his elbow range, he does have elbows. He does have actual working movable elbows, but it's just not enough, man. Like I said, it's not consistently good. It's a quirky figure, you know, like the good old days, in a way. You know, I'm, in a way, getting this guy and opening it up and feeling how quirky it is. It was kind of nostalgic. I mean, he holds together really firm. Thankfully, he's not a super floopy, goopy mess, like some older figures were. I would say the loosest part is probably this kibble on the back of his legs, because it just kind of floops around. That's a little unfortunate. I wish it just would have pegged in, but it just kind of it shifts with the hinges. His wrists can actually rotate, which is really appreciated. I do think you have to rotate those for the transformation, if I'm not mistaken. They're actually on ball joints. Yeah, they're on ball joints for the transformation because they flip in. That's kind of cool. I appreciate that. They could have just made them on hinges, but no, they're like, hey, let's ball joint them. He does have a waist rotation, which is pretty nice. Definitely something you wouldn't have seen if this guy was released 10 years ago. But in my opinion, if this guy was released 10 years ago, this toy wouldn't have been much different, man. It wouldn't have. It really wouldn't have. His back kibble, it does, like, plug in. You can see there's a big plug right there. And once you get it plugged in, it does stay. But since it's so huge, you know, just from natural handling of it, you might get it untabbed like I did just now. But don't think that just floops. It's, you know, it tabs in very securely. You know, it's not going anywhere. The hips. You can tell there's going to be some issues here. So they're on ball joints. Very nice firm ball joints. They don't move out that far anyway because of the kibble. I think they just kind of limited the ball just because they knew it couldn't go out that far. But you can get him forward pretty far. He's got a thigh swivel. Are you ready for this? Oh, yeah, that's pretty bad. Again, like, I feel like they could have just engineered it better. Why couldn't they just position this hinge in such a way where he could bend his knee more? They might have thought, oh, it's because he's got this kibble on the back of the leg. You know, if it bends more, that's going to collide with everything. But again, my argument is, why is that even there in the first place? I feel like they could have, you know, I think this figure just needed engineered in a different way. Because, you know, he's got this shift here. Then his feet, he's got these big old duck feet. And they just flip in for the transformation. And they're huge. They're so huge that he will sometimes just kind of collapse with the feet. You know, his feet are huge. So yeah, I feel like the engineering philosophy, it works for him. But it's very quirky, and I feel like they could have figured it out in a different way. I just feel like they could have. It is a War for Cybertron figure, so in the Modern Studio series, so you can't take this gun and plug it into the arm like it should be in the video game. I think it goes the other way. I don't know. It's a giant robot gun. I'm not going to stress about which way it goes. It looks cool both ways, honestly. So pick which way you prefer. How about that? To be game accurate, it needs to be this way. But whatever. It's a toy. So yeah, I think that works pretty well. And I do believe the guns are all compatible. So let's bring in Prime again. And let's see. So yeah, you can get that gun on Prime, because all the guns you get interchanged in the game, and I thought that was really cool. But I gotta see what Prime's big old gun looks like on Barricade. Hopefully you can, because he's got this big old thing right here. Yeah, you can. You have to have it bent all the time, but you can give Barricade Prime's big old gun. I think that's pretty cool. I like that. I think that's pretty cool. But, come on, we're gonna leave this with Prime all the time. It's Optimus Prime. He needs big old gun. That's how he operates. It's so funny. This figure's amazing. Like, this is done so well. But this guy's just... He's interesting. You can plug the arm, if you want, into that same slot on the back that the gun was stored in. If it just fell on the floor. I swear, everything I drop, it's like this gravitational force. It pings, and then it comes close to the camera, and then it falls right in front of the camera onto the floor. I swear, it is this gravitational force. Anyways, yeah, doesn't this... Isn't that supposed to slot in? I swear. Yeah, there we go. It's supposed to slot in. Alright, let's get this guy transformed. I don't have all night. Let us get this transformed. So yeah, the robot mode's very quirky. But after this weird, wacky robot mode, we're going to get to, in my opinion, one of the best vehicle modes that we have seen in a long time. And a very nice transformation, too. Because this transformation, like I said, is very similar to one Robots in Disguise 2015 Bumblebee. It's very similar. You know, the arms kind of shift to the side. And I think one of the things that makes it the most similar is how this thing from the back is essentially just going to come over and, like, cover so much. Look at how much that's going to cover right there. We do want to rotate this, I believe. And we'll flip the feet in. We can see these really big, cool claws. And then that will go up. You can see the transformation's kind of cool, and it's very fast, very fluid. It's actually very fun. I think this is one of those Transformers where you're not buying it for the robot mode. The robot mode's it's there. You know, it looks decent. It can pose, but the transformation on this, you know, the size of the figure, it's very large. It just feels great. And then this last step, once you just take this and just put it over everything, where you put it under the arms and then you put it over everything else. And you just get everything tabbed in. It's just so satisfying. What you end up with is one of the coolest looking cars I've literally ever seen in my entire life. This Cybertronian car is sweet. I love it. I do want to show how big it is. Give me a second. So here is War for Cybertron Barricade compared to a more modern deluxe car with Kingdom Earthrise sideswipe. So you can see it's a decent size bigger. Let's take the weapons off sideswipes, because I feel like that's kind of making the illusion that this sideswipe's bigger than it actually is. Look at that. That's a pretty big car mode. That's pretty big. And you can see it's just got a lot of size to it. It doesn't have as much substance, though. Like, again, this sideswipe figure is consistently good. You know, like, the transformation on this thing is just... Like, look at this. It's just so... Oh, I popped his arm off. I've literally never done that. Oh my gosh. It's like, oh, we're filming. Let's be silly. Let's pop my arm off. Yeah, this transformation's so fast, so fluid. It's like, this is what a modern Transformer is all about. It's just so consistently good. And in some ways it can be kind of boring. You know, I can understand that. And sometimes I do get bored of it. But the fact that I own this mold, like... 5-ish times proves that, yeah, this is a very consistently good Transformer. This is what I really like seeing out of a lot of Transformers toys. But this Barricade, he's just kind of a different flavor, you know? Not everything's the same, and getting something weird and quirky like this is kind of nice from time to time. Again, it's not that great of a figure. It's not. But it's still a pretty cool toy. I just noticed he's got the movie Decepticon logo. Oops, that's not right. Yeah, it's whatever. I do like this Barricade. Do I recommend it? It depends if it's your cup of tea. For me, yeah, I like it. If you like War for Cybertron, if you like this kind of gamer era of stuff, yeah, I think this guy would go great with your pre-existing War for Cybertron collection or your soon-to-be War for Cybertron collection. You know, we're getting Megatron. We just got Prime and B. It's this line's. I think it's gonna go far. I would love to see Bruticus. I love to see Grimlock. I love to see this line continue past War for Cybertron and go into Fall of Cybertron. So yeah, I like this Barricade. But if you want a consistently good Transformer like this Sideswipe that I transformed in like 30 seconds, this guy's probably not for you. You probably don't want a figure weird and quirky like this. You probably will get frustrated. You'll probably be like, why is it so weird? And yeah, it's weird. This is a weird toy. But I like it. And that is my final verdict on Gamer Edition Studio Series Barricade. I do have the cardboard backdrop. It's in the basement already. I decided to keep it because it does look cool. I might use it for a picture someday, but I'm not about those. It's literally a picture you can find on Google. Alrighty, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this figure. I'm sure this video is going to be kind of divisive because on one hand, yeah, it's a Barricade. He looks kind of cool, but on the other hand, it's really weird. And I can totally get if you don't like this guy. I can totally get it. But I kind of like the similarity to R.I.D. Bumblebee. I do think R.I.D. Bumblebee pulled it off way better. Like, that figure it poses better, looks more accurate, it has far less kibble. It pulls it off better. But this Barricade's still cool. I like it. I recommend it. Alrighty, guys, there we go. Thanks so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Alrighty, there we go. Have a great one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.